May 17th, 2022, 6:12 a.m. It was supposed to be just another peaceful morning. Carl Simmons, a 53-year-old retired mechanic and avid fisherman, arrived at Blackwater Lake just after sunrise. He had fished these waters since he was a boy, but that day, something was different. As Carl cast his line and slowly paddled toward a familiar cove, a large mass tangled in reeds near the shoreline caught his eye. At first, he assumed it was a deer carcass, common in spring thaw. But as his boat drifted closer, his heart began to race. A pale hand surfaced. Carl froze. It was unmistakable. He backed away quickly and called 911 with trembling fingers. By 8 a.m., the lakefront was sealed off with yellow tape. Milner's small sheriff's department had never handled a homicide before. Sheriff Dana Riley, 44, a former Chicago PD detective who moved to Milner seeking a quieter life, took command. The body was of a woman, mid to late 30s, partially decomposed but preserved well enough by the cold lake. No ID, no wallet. She wore a red sweater, jeans, and one missing shoe. Her fingernails were cracked and bloody, suggesting a struggle. The autopsy, conducted by the regional coroner, Dr. Sheila Marks, revealed the cause of death: blunt force trauma to the back of the head, followed by drowning. Time of death? Approximately 2 weeks prior. This wasn't an accident. It was murder. Sheriff Riley was methodical. She started with missing person reports within a 200-mile radius. 2 days later, she found a match: Rachel Whitmore, 36, last seen on May 1st leaving her apartment in Brainerd, about 45 miles south of Milner. A freelance photographer, Rachel had reportedly told friends she was heading north for a nature shoot. No one had heard from her since. Her sister, Emily Whitmore, came to confirm the ID. It was her. Emily broke down in the coroner's office. She wasn't just my sister. She was my best friend. Who would do this? That was the question on everyone's mind. Digging into Rachel's life, investigators found a quiet, creative woman with a modest following on Instagram and no known enemies. She had recently ended a long-term relationship with a man named Halvorson, a real estate agent with a clean record, but a temper, according to Emily. He didn't take the breakup well, she said. He was obsessive. He'd show up at her apartment drunk. One time he even keyed her car. Sheriff Riley brought Grant in for questioning. He appeared calm, maybe too calm. "Yeah, we broke up," he said. "I was upset, but I didn't hurt her. I haven't seen her in weeks." His alibi? He was in Duluth on May 1st, visiting his mother, who confirmed the visit. For now, Grant was cleared. So who else could have wanted Rachel dead? Rachel's camera was missing, but her laptop, recovered from her apartment, offered a breadcrumb. On her desktop was a folder labeled "May Shoot, Blackwater." Inside were raw images taken just a day before her disappearance. Most were serene shots of the forest and lake, until one photo stood out. Taken at twilight, slightly blurry, was the silhouette of a man near a pickup truck, standing by the lake. Zooming in, Riley saw the license plate, just enough digits to track it. The truck belonged to Dennis Waller, 62, a local handyman who lived in a cabin less than a mile from where Rachel's body was found. Waller was known around Milner as a loner, quiet, odd, but never violent. When Sheriff Riley arrived at his cabin, she found him chopping wood. "You recognize this woman?" she asked, showing Rachel's photo. He hesitated. "I might have seen her. Lot of tourists this time of year." But Riley could see the sweat on his brow. She pressed harder. "You were in the photo, Dennis. At the lake. The same day she died." He clammed up. "I want a lawyer." Things had just turned. With a warrant, deputies searched Waller's property. In his shed, they found a box beneath a pile of tools. Inside, Rachel's missing camera, a red earring that matched the one found on her body, and, most damning of all, a blood-stained rock wrapped in a plastic bag. But Dennis wasn't talking. What motive could he have? Then came a call from the state crime lab. The blood on the rock was Rachel's. It looked airtight, open and shut. But Riley felt something was off. Something didn't add up. Why would Dennis keep the murder weapon? Why not dump the camera? And then, there was the message. On Rachel's recovered memory card, investigators found a video, just 22 seconds long, shaky, and seemingly taken in a panic. It showed Rachel running through the woods. She whispered, "He saw me. He's following me. He's not supposed to be here." The footage cut off. In the background was a voice shouting, distorted, but it didn't sound like Waller. Sheriff Riley played it again and again. The voice was younger, angrier. She called in a forensic audio expert. The voice was run through enhancement software. A match came back. Grant Halvorson. So how did Rachel's ex, who supposedly had an alibi, end up on audio at the scene? Turns out, Grant's mother lied for him. When confronted, she broke down and admitted, "He told me it was just a misunderstanding. I thought I was protecting him." Phone records showed Grant had driven north on May 1st. His phone pinged near Blackwater Lake just hours before Rachel's estimated time of death. Confronted with the evidence, Grant finally cracked. But the truth was darker than anyone expected. According to Grant's confession, he had followed Rachel that weekend, hoping to talk things out. When he arrived at her shoot location, he saw her taking pictures and then arguing with another man, Dennis Waller. Rachel, it turns out, had accidentally captured photos of Waller illegally dumping chemicals from his side business, waste from a job he was doing off the books. She told him she was reporting it. Waller got aggressive. That's when Grant, hiding in the woods, stepped in. He hit Waller with a branch. The two fought. Rachel screamed. In the chaos, Grant struck her, harder than he meant to. She fell, hit her head on a rock. Panicked, he and Waller, now unwilling accomplices, dragged her body to the lake. Waller offered to take care of it. Grant fled, but Waller kept the camera and murder weapon, probably to blackmail Grant later. Both were arrested. In late 2023, the trial began. Grant Halvorson pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and received 25 years in prison. Dennis Waller, for his role in covering up the murder and for environmental crimes, was sentenced to 15 years. Rachel's sister Emily gave a powerful victim impact statement. She had dreams. She was finally finding her voice, and two cowards stole it from her. Blackwater Lake has returned to its stillness, but it's not the same. Milner now remembers Rachel Whitmore not just as a victim, but as a woman who stood up for what was right and paid the ultimate price. Her final photographs now hang in the town's community center. A tribute, a warning, and a reminder that even in quiet places, dark secrets can hide just beneath the surface.